easiest thing in the world you can do to get more leads now is to go into your own list and start doing some marketing there.
Sharp strategies, sweet success.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sharp Strategies, Sweet Success. This is your host, Tiffany Swedensky, and today is a special bonus episode. I may start recording these solo episodes once a week, just because with the podcast and bringing on guests, don't get a huge chance to talk about what we're doing here at Sharp Cookie, and don't get to address specific topics that may be of interest for marketing directors and law firms. And today, this episode is about one special topic, which may be kind of uncomfortable, but I think it's important because there's not a lot of information out there about what to do in this particular scenario. So imagine with me, you're working at a law firm, you're marketing for the law firm, or maybe you're the lawyer, and you kind of think, hey, we're not getting as many leads as we used to. And hopefully you have some marketing data. You look at the marketing data and confirm, like, okay, we are having a lead slowdown and we just aren't getting as many potential client leads as we used to. And this kind of thing comes up for all law firms. It comes up for law firms that are doing really well and doing a ton of marketing. It comes up for law firms that have been coasting for a long time. And in fact, there are periodic case and lead slowdowns throughout the year that happen kind of predictably that aren't really a huge cause for concern. It's just the flow of the market, so to speak. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about lead slowdowns, what you should do when these happen, what you should look for, and how you could potentially remedy it. So starting off, the first thing you need to do, if ever you feel like you've had a lead slowdown, is review the data. Hopefully you have at least 6 months of marketing data that you can look back on. And I hope your data is broken out by these categories. And I say I hope, this is how I break out my data. And I feel like this is an important way to measure inbound leads. So for me and my clients, whenever there's a new lead entered into our case management system or lead docket, we're pulling data about that lead into our marketing data spreadsheets. And we try to secure the spreadsheets. We're not bringing in personally identifiable information. It's purely just marketing data. Contacts are assigned IDs, so we can look them up if we need to. But generally, we're pulling this information in without pulling in email, name, phone number. So it's purely just information about the case and the potential lead. And so what I pull in when I'm gathering marketing data from leads is I'm looking at when the lead was created, the marketing source, how they contacted us. We're also pulling in their case type, what kind of case it is, and also severity level. And you might call it severity level, you might call it something else. Basically, it's a scale of how qualified the lead is. And I use the scale primarily from lead docket. So 1 to 5, it's 0 to 5, 0 being no case and 5 being a great case. How do we rank this lead? And it's important that your intake team is scoring all inbound leads as accurately as they can. And whenever they receive more data about the lead, they're going back and updating it regularly to give it some more information. And we're looking at the severity level and all these other data points, and we're going back 6 months to determine, one, are we actually having a lead slowdown? And for me, a lead slowdown is something that happens over a period of longer than 3 weeks. A month is maybe too long, and 2 weeks isn't quite long enough to definitively call something a lead slowdown. And so typically at 3 weeks, if we're seeing a downward trend over that period, I feel like we're in a lull. And also you want to make sure that the drop in leads is greater than 15%. A 15% decline in leads over 3 weeks might just be a normal fluctuation in the lead cycle. But anything greater than 15% is going to be statistically really significant. It's going to show a dramatic drop. And it basically signals like this is a really important lead slowdown that we need to address. Anything under than 15% is kind of in the normal marketing fluctuation territory. And so you want to make sure that it's happened for 3 weeks, greater than 15%. And then that's where these other data points come into play, right? So what we're going to look at, not only the total number of leads, but the total number of leads by case type. And we want to do this because, a lot of firms attract more than just their primary case type. A lot of times they've used to be in a practice area, they're no longer in, and they still get leads of that nature. Sometimes people who want to call attorneys will just call everyone just to answer a question. It could be a civil matter, it could be something else. And so, yeah, by and large, law firms get a ton of leads that they don't want. And it's important to have this factor in your calculus because let's say you saw a 25% decline in leads over 3 weeks. And you look back on the data and you say, like, oh, a huge part of that decline was actually driven because we suddenly got fewer civil litigation leads. So it's almost not actually lead slowdown. We've just successfully started repelling those types of cases. And so break it down by case type. It'll give you a clearer picture of which types of cases are declining. So if you do see, let's say you're going after dog bites and you see like a huge decline in dog bites while everything else is staying the same, something has changed about your dog bite marketing. And so that gives you at least a heading to where you need to look into to determine like where is this lead slowdown coming from and how can we fix it. The other big part of what you're going to look at in this marketing data is the marketing source itself. And often I like to look at a table of case types by marketing source to see where the big change is coming from. So recently, for one of my clients, actually, we were looking into a very mild lead slowdown. This happened over a week. And we wanted to know like where the lead slowdown was coming from. And what we found in the data was that our PPC ads suddenly started attracting less of the case type we wanted and more of a case type we didn't. And because that we knew the marketing source of this big drop off of leads was our PPC ads, we were able to reach out to the PPC vendor, tell them what we were seeing and saying like, hey, we started getting less of this case and more of this case. And we knew who to contact because we knew the marketing source of the leads that had slowed down. And the last one you want to look at, and probably should be the first one, is the quality score. Because if we're seeing a drop off in potential leads with bad quality scores, basically we're seeing the drop off happen in our unqualified leads. We know, hey, this is not like a huge issue we have to fix. We're getting the same amount, maybe more of the cases that are qualified that we do want and less of the cases we definitely don't want. So it's kind of a net win because your intake team doesn't have to deal with those calls you're not getting anymore. So you need to do this evaluation and go through all of these data points to figure out where the drop is coming from, what marketing source, what case type, what severity level. And all of this data, even though it's not too much, but it is a lot, is going to quickly tell you where you need to look in terms of how to fix the drop off in leads. So now you have an idea of where the drop off in leads is coming from and you want to fix it. What can you do? First things first. And I feel like this is a super important lesson is that to get leads, you have to be doing some kind of lead generation. And so that can take on many, many forms. One way to accomplish lead generation is by being the most visible when somebody searches for your business category. So that just basically means being the one that shows up top of MacPack, top of Google, top of local service ads, in the PPC ads, and in several other places on the Google search engine result page when somebody uses that high intent search. That's one way to do it. Of course, that's the long road. There's a lot of talk about SEO, PPC, LSA ads, and how to make these things perform. And we can get into the nitty gritty of each one. But for the purpose of this podcast, I just want you to be thinking like that's one way we could generate more leads is by increasing our visibility in the search engine result page. Another way you might generate leads might be through a lead generation service. I say that because it's really common. There are a lot of services out there that'll run their own ads, triage the lead, do an intake, and then sell the lead to a law firm. And these companies sometimes get good results, sometimes they don't. It's honestly a mixed bag. Like any form of online lead generation, the case quality tends to be lower than if it's a referred case or if it's, well, a referred case, basically. You compare like online lead generation to referrals, and over again, you see lower case values coming from online sources, higher case values coming from B2B, person to person referrals. So you can do the online lead generation services. They advertise on Facebook, sometimes Google Ads. You don't have to worry about creatives, setting up the campaign, maintaining it. You just wait for that qualified lead to come through. The other way that you might generate leads is by doing online lead generation, but yourself. That's something I do quite often. I love Facebook ads. I hate them, but I love them at the same time. They're great, they're fun, and they're a lot more flexible in terms of like how we could reach clients and potential clients. And depending on your practice area, Facebook ads might be quite successful for you. It's hit or miss with personal injury, I'm not going to lie to you. But with personal injury, there's still a lot of lead generation you could do with Facebook, with website retargeting, marketing to your client list, your inbound lead list, and basically showing your ads to people who are already interested in your services and getting them to convert and take the next step. And this is also lead generation, even though it's not exactly getting a fresh brand new lead that hasn't heard of you before onto your list. It is converting somebody who already knows about you and is primed to take the next step. And then I mentioned this in the beginning a little bit, but another thing you can do to generate leads are going to be local service ads, Google PPC. If you set these things up right, it's going to be a really big boon of cases. But again, they're low quality. But you gotta put money into it to get something out of it, just like the lottery. And so you got to invest in these ads if you want to generate more leads, and particularly if you need more leads now. So I mentioned referrals earlier, and referral marketing is another way to do lead generation. But in my experience, it's a bit slower. So you have to ask yourself, like, am I having a lead slowdown? Yes. Where is that coming from? I'm getting a lot of leads from Google and PPC, but I get like next to no referrals. So I should do more referral marketing. Yes, that makes sense. Um, but like a lot of referral marketing, you could send referral letters and potentially get an immediate response. You could do networking events, potentially get a case or get a case referred from there. But I'm hesitating because it's typically slow. And if you're lucky, you'll get 1 or 2, but it won't be like a huge tide that'll suddenly turn your lead numbers around. For me, referral marketing is something that happens over a 3-month period where we're working, promoting, doing all the referral marketing we should be doing, and then getting the leads down the road, the cases down the road. And hopefully that's something we can build on over time. And the last thing I'll recommend, which is a well-used and well-known strategy. The first time I saw it live, Brian Glass did it at Ben Glass Law. But it's very simply emailing the people you haven't converted yet and asking them if they need an attorney. If you have a list of leads who are qualified cases, but they didn't hire you for one reason or another, maybe you lost contact with them, easiest thing in the world you can do to get more leads now is to go into your own list and start doing some marketing there. And a simple email that says, "Hey, have you found an attorney to help you with your case yet?" can net a case really quickly. The last bit of advice that I'll give is each firm is different. How you generate leads is different. What causes lead slowdowns is different. Sometimes it's because we haven't been doing enough marketing, and eventually you'll run out of juice when you don't reinvest in marketing. And so lead slowdowns are inevitable if you're not producing anything, if you're not doing the marketing. So you need to be doing the marketing to really experience a lead slowdown. Otherwise, you're just experiencing a lack of marketing. And so if you're having a lead slowdown, it's been ongoing. You really need to focus on implementing marketing and doing it consistently. But if you're at a place where you have good marketing, you've been doing marketing for a while and you have a lead slowdown, it happens. You need to take a very strategic approach to this. Try not to react to just the pure numbers that you see in your dashboards. You really need to get in there and find out, okay, Where are these lead slowdowns coming from? What can we do to remedy it? Who can we contact? And don't look for what isn't there. Like if you're going through your leads and you're like, okay, like I see we get leads from a lot of places, but we don't get any leads from Facebook. So we should start marketing to Facebook. You should start marketing to Facebook, but your Facebook's probably never going to be a huge source of leads for anyone. So, don't reach for what isn't there. Like, look at the channels that you're already doing somewhat well on, that you already have traction on, and look at those and say, how can we do 10% better, or 15% better, or 50% better? And if you're working with small numbers to begin with, you'll see those percentage changes and doing better, or at the very least, doing more, are going to help you out in the long term. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to this bonus episode. I'll be recording extra episodes like this whenever I find time. In the meantime, if you are a marketing director or you have a marketing director, I want you to know I'm hosting the Sharp Marketing Seminar in Fairfax, Virginia in June, and your marketer is welcome to attend. Visit the Sharp Marketing Seminar to learn more about what we'll be talking about at this event. It's going to be workshop style, and your marketer will leave with a binder full of materials that'll be your marketing plan for the next 12 months. So I really hope that if you're interested, you'll be able to register and attend. It's going to be a great event. We are going to have a ton of marketers there, including some of the marketers, a part of my Sharp Marketing Mastermind group. So visit Sharp Marketing Seminar, learn more. Thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you all soon.